Welcome everyone. Today's our lecture topic is Physiology of Respiration as per Ayurveda perspective. Actually, the respiration process in nowadays explained in scientific way, but in our ancient scripture like Charak, Sushrut, Vagbhat, Shadandar, and so on, the respiration related context has been also available, but they are explained in their own in their own basic concept way and in their own Sanskrit language. So we need to integrate and we need to develop that Ayurveda perspective in a scientific way, and we need to elaborate and we need to widespread that whatever the concept, whatever the theory which has been explained in term to respiration. Respiration we need to widespread and we need to explore in the right scientific way by intacting the Ayurveda's basic and root way concept. So first of all, I need to explain the respiration system in the modern. So in this section, I will explain about the respiration process as per the modern view, but it is in concise way. Not I am not going to elaborate it, each and every concept and stage and in lengthy way. I just concise because our today's our topics focus is only on physiology of respiration in Ayurveda perspective, in which we will discuss or deal with the what are the context which has been explained in related to respiration in the Ayurveda. So first of all, I explain about the respiration in the context of modern view in the concise way. So first of all, what is the respiration? Respiration is a process in which oxygen is enter inside the body and carbon dioxide is expelled out from the body through the respiratory tract. So respiratory tract has been divided into the two parts, that is upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. Upper respiratory tract structures are nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, and lower respiratory tract structures are it start from the trachea, bronchi, bronchiole, respiratory bronchiole, alveoli, lungs, and so on. So these are the anatomical structures in relation to the respiration correspondence or conduction. So basically the first breath is take place only after the birth. Thereafter it is continuous throughout the life. The permanent stoppage of the respiration take place only at the time of the death. Normal respiratory rate is 12 to 60 per minute in adult, but it is subject to vary under normal condition also, like in emotion, like in exercise, due to the increased respiratory rate and to increase respiration force. But whatever the variation, alteration that take place in the respiration, it has been brought back to the normal way by different regulatory mechanism which are present in our body that govern or that regulate the control the respiration process to be take place in a normal homeostasis way within the 12 to 60 minute per 12 to 60 per minute in adult. So what are the regulators that regulatory mechanism? Normally, so the regulation is regulated by two mechanism. One is the chemical, and next is the neuronal mechanism. So in which that, so whenever any variation is take place, whenever irritation or stimulation is take place, so there are some receptors are present in our body, that is the baroreceptor and chemoreceptor. So these receptors are stimulated or irritated and they generate some impulse. So that impulse are carried by the afferent fibers. And efferent fiber for the respiratory system are majorly glossopharyngeal nerve and vagus nerve. So this glossopharyngeal and vagus nerve carry that information toward the center. The center which is present in the brain, especially medulla and pons. So in the medulla and pons there are the inspiratory and expiratory nucleus present. So they receive the information, thereafter they integrate the information and they generate some motor impulse. So that motor impulse has been conveyed by the motor fibers. So what are the motor fibers? The motor fibers are the intercostal nerve and phrenic nerves. Through this nerve, they stimulate or inhibit the target according to body need, according to the respiratory process, according to normalcy. So they either stimulate or inhibit the related respiratory related concern structures. So that is the structure may be the diaphragm or internal intercostal nerve, external intercostal nerve, and the some of the accessory inspiratory muscle, accessory expiratory muscle. So these are the whenever they stimulated or they receive the motor impulse according to body need, they either compress or either they bulge the lungs and they dilate the bronchial or constrict the bronchial, or they downward the diaphragm, or they move upward the diaphragm in order to regulate the normal inspiration and expiration as per the body need. So and next is there is in the respiration is take place in the two phases. One is the internal respiration, second is external respiration. Internal respiration means that in which gaseous exchange is take place in between the tissue and blood. And external respiration means that in which gaseous exchanges take place in between the lung and blood, especially alveoli and pulmonary capillary. So in which oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange as per the partial pressure difference. So in the systemic circulation, the gaseous exchanges take place in between the tissue, either the muscle, either the adipose, whatever the tissues are there. So in which in the tissue and in between the capillary, the gaseous exchanges take place. So that is called as a internal respiration, and the gaseous exchange take place in between the alveoli and pulmonary capillary blood. So that is called as the external respiration. So it is about the concise description of the respiration as per the modern perspective. Now we move on to, or we coming on to the our Ayurveda perspective respiration process. So Ayurveda, as per the Ayurveda perspective, the act of respiration is the physiological function of the prana and udan. So these two type of the vayu is majorly concerned to regulate the inspiration and expiration process. So basically prana vayu is concerned with the inspiration process and udan vayu is concerned with the expiration process. We will discuss about how they are, why we consider the prana and udan as a inspiration and expiration concern process. We will discuss later. And inspiration and expiration is the sign of the being alive. So normally we this type of the action may be expressed by the pranavaya, because pran means the prakarsya niti chestate iti pran. It means the entirety which sustain the life in our body, that is called the pran. And pranavayu is responsible for sustain the life within our body. So that pranavayu function may be govern or concern the process of the inspiration and expiration process, and which are the sign of the being alive. Pranavastrotas means the channel or pathway through which the external air or pranavayu enter into the body to sustain life. Pranavasrotas understood as a respiratory system in context to Sthulasrotas, since it take in the pranavayu air and as nutrient from external atmosphere through respiratory tract, and its main function is contribution in body is to provide oxygen. So it is about the some basic description of the respiration as per the Ayurveda perspective. Now we see about Pran Pravan Prushta Urday Kamalantaram. Is there here Urday Kamalantaram is that the lung heart complex. Normal lung heart complex, it means that so whatever the whenever you whatever the respiration, the during the inspiration whatever the oxygen is taken, so that oxygen is conveyed from the alveoli into the pulmonary capillary blood, and thereafter whatever the carbon dioxide is due to the partial pressure, it is enter from the pulmonary blood into the alveoli, and through the expiration it is expelled out. So basically the heart from the inferior vena cava, the and superior vena cava, the impure blood is enter into the inferior blood into the left atrium. Through that, it is entered to the it entered into the right atrium. Then after it is entered into the right ventricle. Thereafter, by expelling out to the pulmonary trunk, it is enter into the right and left lung. In the lung, it is pure. The whatever the gaseous exchange take place in the pulmonary capillary and alveoli, the purified blood is again enter into the heart through the left atrium via the pulmonary vein. So it means that this is the it is indicating that the lung heart complex in the view of the pure gas in the view of the blood purification through the inspiration expiration process via the gaseous exchange at the level of the alveoli and pulmonary capillary blood. Next is the Kantat Bhai Patum Vishnu Padamrutam. So whatever the gas is, whatever the vayu or whatever the gas is there, which is expelled out of the body through the region of the Kanta. So normally, so the Udan Vayu, which is the place of the Udan Nabi Uran Kanta. So the function of the Udan Vayu is to move upward. So it may be indicating that Udan Vayu may be considering, it may be provide facilitate the expiration process by modulating the diaphragm movement and by expelling the gas through the cunt or throat region. So whatever the gas which is move outside of the body, so after from the atmosphere, whatever the pure air is there in context to respiration, that is oxygen, which is enter into the body through the via inspiration process, that is the patum vishnu padamrutam. So by assimilating the oxygen in the external atmosphere, the through the inspiration, the whatever the purified air is there, it is again enter into our body. Pitvacha ambar punara. Again it is enter into the body through force. And perineum dehamakilam. So whenever it is the purified air is enter into the body, the blood is purified. So by oxygenating blood, and that oxygen blood is representation of the life being alive. On perineum them it is sustain our entire body, and GVN Jetranal, and it is stimulate the digestive fire of the human beings. So it is about the integrative explanation of the respiratory process. No, as already I discussed, I mentioned it that inspiration is governed by the pranavayu, especially, and expiration process is the governed by the udanvayu. So these are the some contexts which prove the why we are considering the pranavayu for the inspiration process and why we are considering the udanvayu in the process of the expiration. So प्राणवायु प्राणोत्तु मूर्धगा पुरकंठचर बुद्धि हृदय चित्र दिग स्टीवं क्षौत उद्गा निश्वास अन्न प्रवेश कृत प्राणोत्तु मूर्धगा. The pranavayu main location is to मूर्धगा. It is the brain. So normally in the brain, so in the especially in the medulla and pontine, there are the some inspiratory and expiratory nuclei are there. They are the regulatory center. So it may be considering that the pranavayu may be activate or stimulate or control the nuclei which are in concern with inspiration and expiration. So, ura it is moving into the ura chest region and throat region. Buddhi within the chitra, it stimulate or stabilize the intelligence, heart, chit, and sensory organ, and it is sustain and it is provide control all this structure, and it is responsible for the Steven, that is spitting, kshav to sneezing, udgar belching, niswas here niswas means inspiration, and anna pravesh kudna degradation process. So it means that the pranavayu by residing in the head region, it control the inspiration and expiration, and most predominantly it is in concern with the niswas process, that is the inspiration process. Now expiration process. उदानो नाम यस उद्वमुपेति पवनोत्तम तेन भाषित गीत आदि विषेद अभिप्रवर्तते. Here Udan Vayu is it is moving upward direction. So it moving upward direction means that it is expel the air out of the body. It means that it is concerned with the expiration process. So Dalan commented that what is the meaning of the Bhasit Gita? The Bhasit Gita the Riti Adi Shabda Uchwas Adi. Uchwas means that expiration process. It means that it is it proves that we can correlate the prana vayu's function in the context of the inspiration and udan vayu function in the context of the expiration. Now transport of the gases as per the Ayurveda perspective. In the Ayurveda, in the context of the Ayurveda, so the ancient acharyas explained the how the blood or how the ras dhatu is transported throughout the body via dhamani and shira. So in which that damanyo ras vahibhyo damanti pavano tan. So here indicating oxygenated blood. So through the Dhamini, the ras wine is vibrating and flowing throughout the body in the context of the vayu. That is the ras, the the ras or the blood with the combination of the prana, that is the oxygenated blood. And yunakti pranina pran shonitam anuvartati. So the oxygenated blood, the blood with the pran is responsible for the sustain the life in the body. क्षीरादमन्यो नाभिस्सु सर्वव्याप्य स्थिता स्तनुं पुष्णन्ति च निशं वायो संयोगात् सर्वधातुभिः. The blood vessel which are artery and veins which are emerged from the umbilical region, navel region, which is spread throughout the body, and by spreading it throughout the body, it is responsible for the maintaining the tissue perfusion. So by providing the prana vayu to each and every cell. So that is the main aim of the that purified blood by the respiration process is to tissue perfusion or to purification of the blood. So it is about the respiration process in the Ayurveda perspective. Here I want to clarify to each and every student that whenever I integrate the some Ayurveda contacts or concept with some modern terminology, so you don't take that wholesome, that whatever the integration that I am using, you don't think that it may be the wholesome or it is a wholesome representative of that Ayurveda concept, but you take just as it is considered that as a friction. It is not a wholesome. So here whatever the integration that I am giving, that is only for the sake of the understanding of that Ayurveda concept in the novel modern era, because you all are coming from the science background, so you it takes some time to understand about the that Ayurveda concept. So to for the your sake of understanding, whenever I integrating that any Ayurveda concept with the modern, you just consider that it is only one part or it is only one friction, or it may be not the must form of that Ayurveda. So you just think and take it consider that it may be, not it must. Okay, and you try to, and also I want to notify want to clarify, I want to indicate you that you should need to create ideology yourself to think it in the Ayurveda perspective. Whatever the explanation and whatever the stanza which are there, you need to think it in yourself in the Ayurveda perspective, and broaden the Ayurveda terminology and knowledge for the proper way, and it should fulfill the our science exploration in the right way. So it is about the your on your mind and your interest. So I am again want to I want to again emphasize that you should need to think and expand the knowledge of the Ayurveda concept in the proper Ayurveda basic concept way. Thank you.